a land where phrases like, I have a dream, meant something. I grew up where I believed that freedom existed, that that's what I was fighting for. I believed that the Statue of Liberty was a symbol of our liberty, that we all came from all over the world because we didn't want to live underneath the monarchy, that our founding fathers made America the land of the free and the land of the brave. I don't care what you say to me. I don't care if there's a shadow government or there's people out there that's trying to take it away from us. This is America, damn it, and I'm taking it back.
And now your host, Terry Joyce.
All right, welcome to the Freedom of Joyce show here on American Freedom Radio. I'm Terry Joyce. I'm going to be your host for the next couple of hours. I'm very excited to bring my guest on that I have today. Sometimes I take the first portion of the hour to ramble on about thoughts that I have. Current events, etc. Here in the United States, or I don't know, maybe I'm discussing the cannabis plant or etc. But I'm not going to spend too much time really ranting on anything this morning. Actually, it's not morning; it's the afternoon here in Southern California. It's beautiful outside. The sun is, you know what? I mean, the sun's actually peering out between the chemical clouds. You can basically think of that any way you want to, but I am getting a little bit of vitamin D while I'm broadcasting this show here on American Freedom Radio. And what's even more ironic, actually, to be honest with you, I love the iPhone. Today I did have to do my show from Skype, from the iPhone. Here in Southern California. So I'm kind of in the wonderful, wonderful concrete park, in a shopping mall. I know that there's these Starbucks to my left here, cars pulling away on the side. Many distractions for a you would think for a radio show, but you know what? Modern technology allows us to have that normal conversation that you could have with somebody all the way in another part of the world from like, let's say, Russia maybe. And today my guest, that's exactly where she's from. It's not every day that I get to speak with someone that far away. And and I think this show is going to be quite fun and interesting. It's almost like, I mean, this is how great technology is. It's almost like having a cup of coffee at Starbucks with your friend in Russia, and now we're that connected globally through our own technology. That it's possible to happen today. So I would like to welcome to the show Natalia Satievya from Novorossia News. Welcome to the show today.
Hello, Tara. I'm glad to hear you today. Hello, our listeners. It's a great chance to talk to you. I'm glad to be here on the air now.
Well, I described my surroundings. That I'm in Southern California. I'm not exactly going to say exactly where I'm at, but I'm sure the NSA or the CIA might know if they were to care. But the weather is warm out here right now. What is your surroundings like? Is it cold? Is it warm? What's it like?
Our weather is early spring. It's getting warmer each day, but not sunny or every day. It is night now actually, and yesterday it was dull enough, but our holidays, we had a holiday on the 8th of March. I told you before, the weather was perfect. Real spring was sunny, was warm enough. It's spring here.
Oh, that's nice. We're kind of heading towards spring too a little bit as well. It's you would think it's kind of early. We kind of had it seemed like a short winter here, so it looks like there's some spring coming about, but we might still have some cold weather or some rain out there as well. Now you just was yesterday Women's Day. I mean, you guys over in Russia have celebrate Women's Day, and in the
Yes.
United States, women we don't know anything about this here. We don't celebrate. What is that? What is Women's Day all about?
Women's Day, it's when everything has to be for women. Men uh, try to do everything possible. Women like it. A lot of flowers, sweets, and housework. Women can have a real day off this day, but but actually we cook holiday dinner, but we get presents, gifts, flowers. I've told you some kind of spring holiday, very very beautiful. We like it really. We accustomed to we have tradition to congratulate our mothers, grandmothers, and to get uh, gifts from our husbands, boyfriends.
Well, I like this holiday. It seems like a special day for women that you just get. It's your day to be treated, kind of taken care of, or you get to the day off, maybe pampered a little bit. It's your day to have, I guess, your mate or people to give back to the woman. That's really nice.
Yes, it's really official day off, and people enjoy it. Men and women that in time of working week we could have one more day off to be with family, with people whom we love and want to be that day.
And and so do you have, I mean, I know like we have holidays here that, I mean, I guess you can say it's kind of like Women's Day. It's like okay, for example, we have Mother's Day. Do you have
Yes, I know.
mhm, yeah. And so, but in America, like we'll have commercials for things to get your mother. It becomes a real consumerism day. Some of our holidays that are surrounded around the celebration of like mom or the woman or father, example, giving honoring them for being who they are. It turns into product. Does that happen in where you're at? Do you have advertisements? Is there consumerism surrounding these kind of holidays?
Lately, several years, about 5, 7 years, we have started celebrating Mother's Day in May. Tia, and you celebrate also in May Mother's Day?
Yes, we do. We celebrate Mother's Day. I mean, it's kind of one of those days where restaurants make a lot of money sometimes
Uh,
because people moms out. So if you're in the restaurant business, you usually have to work that day. It's a big day. Uh,
we have the holiday, but not so popular. We do not go to restaurants. We congratulate mothers. We started doing this not more than 10 years before. It's a new holiday for us.
do you have Valentine's Day?
Yes, we have. We have tradition to congratulate our people whom we love.
I mean, now but is Valentine's Day better for women than Women's Day? I mean, is it kind of like Women's Day doesn't necessarily have to be romantic per se, whereas like Valentine's Day has that kind of. I mean, I know like in America we have commercials where it'll be, they actually have diamond commercials here because nothing says I love you like a blank.
I
You know what I
know.
mean? Yeah.
I know that Valentine's Day is very popular in America. Last year's, like Mother's Day, people it's become also popular here, and people go to restaurants, to clubs to celebrate it. As for me, I do not celebrate it very much because the day before 13th February is my birthday, so Valentine's Day next day is not so important for me, and I think people celebrate 8th of March more here. Aged people, adult people, I mean, not only young generation.
Natalia, I have a holiday birthday, but it's not. It's only it's an American holiday, and it's July 4th. And so it's kind of hard when you have birthdays near holidays or on a holiday because uh, having a party, I don't know, having a party on your birthday when it's on a holiday, it's hard to get people to show up because they're usually doing what people do to celebrate that holiday. Either if it's Christmas, they're with their family or however. Now I wanted to. I know that where you're at, there's a lot of stuff going on with your country, and can you let us know a little bit about the situation that's been happening over the last few years? And also, I'd like to talk a little bit about your military that you have out that way too, as well. What it seems like where you're at, you're there. I mean, what is life like for you right now?
Tara, do you want me to talk about events that happened about 2 years ago, or the situation now here?
I if you could go back 2 years a little bit just to kind of set up and
Mm-hmm.
let people know, give us a background about what's going on, and then if we could be brought into today after that, that would be great. So let's start with like the past. What happened 2 years ago?
2 years ago, citizens of capital of Ukraine, of Kiev, gathered in the main square of the city, and they demanded to to be a part of European Union. Did you hear people in America? Did they hear these events 2 years ago?
Yes, I did. I heard of a protest that happened there, and to be honest with you, our reporting here in the United States really didn't. Uh, on mainstream television did not give us a whole lot of information. What we did get wind of is that our president was over there in defense of your protesters because America over here we had a democracy, and that he believed that we it was very important for our protesters to be able to exercise their First Amendment rights, and I actually found that to be really hypocritical, to be really honest with you, because our protesters are, more and more being treated, poorly by what I consider to be kind of a militarized police force, which is rather frightening. So, for him to go over and go, oh well, we want to protect this reason, was kind of, I mean, honestly, it's a little bit. I'm suspicious of his motivations, knowing that he really doesn't give a lot for what's going on here with with our First Amendment rights, and in my opinion. Okay, so but yeah, I do remember hearing that there was protesting. I didn't know they were actually protesting to become a part of the European Union. Right now, is not Ukraine is not part of the European Union.
Yes, now the situation is very strange for us. I live in Donbass. We called usually when we were a part of Ukraine, but when people started acting so cruelly in Kiev, in capital of Ukraine, in Maidan, when they demanded, they illegally put down former president, they arranged a coup. And Donbass decided to be separate. We did not support this intention to do everything possible to enter European Union, because uh, our land historically was a part of Russia all the time, and we had to separate from cruel, inadequate Ukrainian people who did these illegal actions in the capital of the country, and we started creating our new independent state, Novorossia, and new illegal president who was not elected due to the constitution. He started so-called anti-terroristic operation, but in fact it is a civil war in the country. He sent troops, armed forces to be at war with people of the state, and so much blood spilled here in our land of new state of Novorossia in Donbass. The first time they used aviation, it was horrible. People, children died every day. Horrible war burst, and now about 2 years passed. In May, this horrible military actions started in May. Now they reached Minsk agreements, so-called agreement of the ceasefire. I know that Donbass is not in information field now. Syria is the topic of the day, but I'd like to address to people of America and to ask to understand that people that war didn't stop here, and humanitarian blockade Ukraine. Kiev authorities try to do everything possible people here not to get nutrition, and they despite all agreements that were reached by parts of our authorities, Kiev authorities, Russia, France, and German, they try to show that they do not want war. However, citizens of our republic every day, every night hear explosions. Fortunately, not the center of the city, but our suburbs, our villages are still shelled. Roads, Ukrainian troops use artillery. Yesterday, a bus with passengers that destined from one town to another town was shelled. Fortunately, without casualties, but wounded people again. Ter?
Yes. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, good. I'm trying to actually I was working on getting some earphones. I think that might make things easier here, but I do hear you very well, and it's when I'm listening to you, I don't even I can't even imagine. It sounds horrible. It sounds horrible to have to live through it, and even trying to make sense of why or what is going on. For I don't know about anybody else that's listening. I just I I think that I, this is it's senseless. At some point, when is our humanity going to grow up and realize that uh, like you're no different than I am over here, right? We're both women, right? And we're both we just happen to live in two different countries, and in a sense those two different countries are having we're having a different experience, but at the same time we're actually connected in all of this, and so in a sense it just I feel for you. I wish that that you guys could be okay.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Tara. You are absolutely right. This war is really senseless. It's not necessary blockade. We are in blockade, and society does not have such ability to know that Kiev is absolutely controlled by European Union, by America. That state, we feel people in this state feel that it's Ukraine is falling into pieces. It's such there is such a feeling that a little bit more time and this state will fall down at all, and this war, it's no one understand who needs this war, why people die, why children die, suffer.
Yeah, I mean, why do children suffer? They should not. They should. I mean, they. Why are they suffering? Why are we suffering?
Yes.
It is a question, and one of the questions so to my understanding, and from is that okay? So there's a group of people that were protesting that were join the European Union, and the rest of the state or the rest of the country was wanting to stay away from the European Union and in their own sovereignty. Is that correct? And so then then let's say then all of a sudden our president over here steps in and wants to protect you, and everybody gets all involved in this. See, in my opinion, right now, the European Union is not necessarily a good thing in some ways, and so I'm kind of surprised in a sense that there's a group of people that actually are wanting to support it. Now, am I wrong? Are you on this side? I mean, and maybe I should clarify this. What is your sentiment on this? Do you think that the European Union is a good thing, or do you think that it's basically detrimental and that the Ukraine should stay the way it is, not being a part of the European Union?
I have never supported this idea of Kiev to join European Union, but we were not against. We did not gather rallies against this. More details actually about the situation, why part of former Ukraine separated and became a new state, Novorossia. Actually, Kiev started acting very aggressively. They arranged this rally pro-European Union, and they forbidden us to use our native Russian language. They wanted us to talk Ukrainian. They wanted to gather the country. I do not know what they want to show to European Union. And answer to your question, now I think many people understand that European Union, for instance, Great Britain, they announced many times that they will leave it because European Union is not like it was earlier. It was prestige to be a member of European Union. Now these problems with the refugees, such brutalities, such I do not know. It's something like a house. What events happened this winter, this January in Köln, Germany? Horrible. What happened in Greece? Where we absolutely agree that European Union it's not aim that people countries have to touch it to be a part of it.
Yeah, I would agree. The more I'm learning about the European Union, specifically the climate change meetings that are going on and the decisions that are coming down, that the treaties that are being made and how those treaties are being passed. I know through our Congress, now we have the TPA, so they can fast track these decisions without two-third votes of the House. And honestly, Natalia, a lot of people don't even understand that that's actually even happening here in the United States. And we're having a lot of celebrities coming out. I don't know if you're familiar with any American actors, but we just had Leonardo DiCaprio win the
Oh,
Academy Award, and in his acceptance speech, he's touting climate change, which again, I'm not denying that climate change doesn't exist, but the treaties that are being made between the European Union look like they're going to be more about money and businesses and countries making certain deals that even within those treaties aren't really the solution to making the planet healthier. They're more about big money and interest still, and they're being trickled down amongst us. So if you're thinking about anybody wanting to be revolutionary at all, you would think that they would be against having any of that type of control, because again, it's what a lot of people would determine as being maybe the one world government or the new world government or the new world order or anything of those phrases. And I know that's a conspiracy buzzword, but when you're looking at the European Union, a lot of people point the finger as that being part of the mechanism in creating more of a global control over the finances and how people live, really.
Yes, we know about problems with climate change. I think many people are worrying about it. Actually, about DiCaprio, we know this actor. I like many American actors, and it was a really event. Everyone here talked about it, about his victory, that he finally got the Oscar. It's a real event for him. And climate changes, it's the main topic now when authorities have to gather and to solve the problem, not to have wars. But now every day we understand that more countries started leading wars. It's very worrying that there are problems in natural problems and problems that are caused by people, by states authorities.
So, you've let us know what happened 2 years ago and how everything got tipped off. Now that you've explained this, it kind of makes more sense that why our president may have been backing the Ukraine protesters and taking the stance that he did, because our country, the United States, seems to be in bed with the European Union. They are part of the European Union, and those decisions that are going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So now what is happening today? What's your current situation now? And has it gotten worse? What is happening at the moment?
It stopped for some time, and uh, international news, even Russia, stopped to cover all the events, and with the time from last summer, Ukraine, they made such I do not know how to say. According to the official documents, agreements, both sides, our army and Ukrainian army, had to take military armament to safe distance from populated areas. They did this. Our army fulfilled this stipulation. Ukrainian, as if they started doing, but now we see heavy artillery close here, and they started using more often. At night we hear explosions. I am lucky I live in the center of the city, but we feel pain every day when hear that our suburbs are shelled, schools are struck again, children sometimes got wounds. It's getting worse, and people talk. Ukrainian president talk very often that that he can't avoid big war, and the war new massive attack will be again, that he has to return back Donbass and Crimea, also peninsula that was a part of Ukraine. And before events started here where I live in Donbass, Crimea was separated from Ukraine and joined Russia. According to free will of people, they had a referendum, and more than 90% voted for Russia. But Kiev Nazi president Poroshenko, they need to have war because someone control him, and he wants to return back everything, but it was legally our referendum, Crimea referendum. People do not want to live in such Ukraine that is now with such government.
That's
Can I put a question to you, Chair?
sure, absolutely.
Do people in America, do mass media resources cover the situation? Do people know that America provided big sum of money to Kiev to help to have to lead this war? It was different aid, money. They provided equipment. They sent soldiers, mercenaries to teach Ukrainian soldiers to fight with civilians here.
No, we do not know that. That is not mainstream news.
Mhm.
And if they did know it, I think on a if CNN were to report that right now, or Fox News, or whatever our major stations here at the time, people would be appalled. It's another example of us training and giving arms and siding with a rebel group, basically, and however way that we determine that we want to do it.
Actually, the sum of money that America authorities given to Kiev authorities, I can tell exactly more than $1 billion were given. And did you know that Kiev intended also to join NATO?
No, but that
They
doesn't surprise me, though. That would make sense why we would put money behind that, right?
Yes, so much money, and they agreed to take Ukraine to NATO. Probably it was a sense here, but after these events, Ukraine shows that authorities are inadequate. American authorities arrive regularly to the capital of Ukraine to talk to president, to vice president, and last time I do not. I can't tell you exactly who arrived, but told to Poroshenko that it's impossible to get them to NATO now. They are not responsible for this. That they mentioned that America gave so much money, and Ukraine could not do with this money. Even they are inappropriate to be part of NATO now.
Okay, so our country is giving money to the group that is causing the rebellion to join the European Union. Is That's basically what you're saying?
Sorry, repeat, please.
Our country is funding the group of Ukrainians who want to join the European Union and NATO. That's the mercenaries that we are, the military that they're giving money to, the training, all that. The objective is to break away from Russia, basically, and as being sovereign and having them join the European Union, right? The alliance, that alliance. Is that what's going on?
Yes, they provide money to Kiev in order they join European Union and NATO. And here you put me earlier the question what I think about the Ukrainian future in the European Union. I think that Europe will not take Ukraine to the Union. According to the preliminary poll in Netherlands, people voted against Ukraine. Europe started to understand. They have to understand the events. People became more politically knowledge. They got more political knowledges after they started to understand that wars are very bad, and we have to understand whom we take, with which people we will live, how the life will change, and people became more cautious. Ukraine will not will not be part of European Union. It's my opinion.
I hope. Well, okay. I would say right now the whole European Union. I mean, I'm suspicious of what the European Union is doing right now, and also how Americans, our Congress, our president, their alliance to it. We had the Pope come to the United States, speak to Congress. Actually, one of our Speaker of the House resigned after that, which is kind of people are kind of think it's kind of found kind of odd. And he was also talking about climate change and is also part of what's going on was going on in the meetings with France with the European Union. And there's a lot of things with the European Union that seem to everybody seems to be affiliated to one another, and they all seem to have the same objective in bringing this kind of unity, this feeling of unity for to protect the environment, for the better, for global. For the greater good of the entire globe, as opposed for everybody, because apparently we have this horrible global warming situation, and almost like it's almost like forget about the fact that we're having wars here and there, and who wants to be sovereign and who doesn't, and who wants this oil and that, and religious reasons or what, all of that stuff almost seems like a distraction to the ultimate quest, and that really is kind of wrapped up around the European Union, these alliances, these treaties that are being made, alliances between certain areas of the certain countries, and they will have to do with trade and commerce and products, basically, is very important. And when we for the Americans to actually be faced with the fact that we might have laws passed to us based on a decision made by the European Union, where we didn't even get to have the real voice of whether we wanted to not. We're basically passing laws that were made in the European Union is according to the United States is completely unconstitutional. And so I'm even going to take I question this, and this might sound really out there and hypothetical, but do you think that the mercenaries that have been teaching the military and Kiev and the group of people that are wanting to have the Ukraine join the European Union, could that actually be a fabricated movement in the first place that would never have been organic to your area had it not been contrived or created? Do you think if there's could there be more of a creation of it on purpose? Because to me, it seems absurd for anybody to go to that lengths to want to be part of the European Union.
I think that authorities of United States who sent mercenaries, I do not know. Probably they want Ukraine to join European Union. It seems that they want if they invest so much money and help Ukraine to move in such direction. Probably someone wants and needs this, but for what? To in this case, Ukraine to help problem with refugees. Probably this war in horrible war in Syria was also expected, and that's why such cooperation was with Ukraine. Ukraine got so much aid from the West. I do not know actually why authorities need these wars and this close cooperation, especially with Ukraine.
Yeah, it's all very. I find it curious, and it seems to be brewing, and your situation is brewing, and it's also seems to have a connection to Russia, connection to Syria, and a lot of what is going on. To me, you can definitely see. Like I said, you can see an alliance of certain countries that want things to be run a certain way, and then there's a resistance, to joining that alliance, and it's really apparent at where you are. And again, your question to me about is this kind of information about us, having mercenaries training your military,
Yes.
or even influencing your rebels into a sentiment of this kind of objective. Whether you want to believe it, it was fabricated or not, seems a little bit contrived on our part. It's like feeding fuel to the fire, basically, for the disruption to happen.
Actually, I would say more. Your mercenaries not only arrive to Kiev to military bases to teach. In our frontline villages, people who suffer a lot, who saw this war, which towns, villages were shelled and totally crushed, even the entire streets. There are a lot of witnesses who say that army who was present in that settlement was in English speaking, that people spoke English, who, who had a location or got I mean breakthrough through the villages controlled by our military, our army. I mean military situation. On the side of Ukraine, there are English-speaking mercenaries, and it was proved by local people, population, by civilians.
How many shows in America have you been allowed to speak on? I know that you've done Stephen D. Kelly's show
Yes.
before. Have you been on? I mean, and now you've done my show. Has there been any other news reporters that you've been able to speak for on behalf of?
You mean which shows did we take part also?
Have you been on any other shows, any other radio shows talking about what's happening in the Ukraine? Have you done any other American programming before,
Uh,
other than me and Steven?
yes, despite Steven, I was invited to the show of Kiss recently, about 2 weeks ago. I was invited to Kiss show. Kiss and several other guys. I met them before. With you, we met on Steven's show. Remember when?
Yeah.
And I talked with these guys who work with KISS.
Now, you also do you do radio as well, or you was associated with any type of media in the Ukraine?
I work in a mass media agency. We have a local TV, radio, and our internet resource is um, is tended to widespread information to Europe and the West. We have 5 languages news portal. We put the most significant news to Europeans and Americans read. Novorossia today. If you want, I'll send you the link. You will watch our site.
Yes, I would love to have the link, and I'll definitely include it in the YouTube video that I'll make of this interview. What is the actual website? Is it www.novorussia today.com or news.com? I mean, what is the website for our listeners to find it, find your site?
Your first variant was absolutely right. Oh,
Oh, really?
without only Novorossia today, Novorossia dot today.
Okay.
That's all.
Oh, okay. All right. Then, so that's where the every listeners can find you. And again, we don't have like a whole lot of time. We're getting towards the end of the show here. We're probably going to go into break in about 7 more minutes. Are there any other areas that people can contact you at? Do you like to have people find you on Facebook or anything of that sort?
Absolutely. We use social networks like VK. Do you use in America actually VK?
Okay.
It's a type of social network, and of course, Facebook. We have groups and page Novorossia Today in Facebook also. We have it, and we put news in English, our current events to show what's going on here in Novorossia and which aggressive actions Kiev nationalists or Kiev Nazis do against population.
How do you feel today? Do you feel that your sovereignty, or your the Ukraine's ability to not allow the objective of what's happening in Kiev, also the rebels that are wanting to, the military that's wanting to join the European Union, that particular, I don't know if you want to call it revolution or whatever. Do you feel that that you guys are handling it well? I mean, are you able to? Does the prospect look good, or are you asking or looking for help in some way?
We are looking for help. We need help because we live in a blockade. Kiev control our economic situation. It's difficult. Honestly, it's difficult to live in a new state. But we do not regret that we separated. We will not live with Ukraine anymore, and Ukraine have to understand this, and we have to deal this peacefully. We have authorities have to talk. They talk, but after their negotiations, new shelling happened here. They break our infrastructure. So many social infrastructural buildings were destroyed. So much money invested into the restoration of our cities. But we want to wait. We will wait until all this finish. Russia help us a lot with our problems, with with food, without medicines, without building materials. Ukraine destroys everything here. This war against population, because it's impossible to be the entire country with such government who destroy everything. And Russia nearly the only country who help. It's the only country that helps regularly in time of 2 years. But I have to point out that other countries not such a big aid, but provide sometimes. France, Switzerland, Egypt. Once I remember, people try to do something to help, but now people the events are not covered. I know, and we. It seems that we are alone with our problem. That people do not know that something horrible happened here. That last year Poroshenko, Ukrainian Nazi illegal president, promised. He promised on the air that children of Novorossia will not be able to be educated. Their houses will be shelled and they will sit in basement. President, such address to civilians, it's horrible. And Europe saw this. Uh, we tried to avert the attention to this, and no answer was here. Actually, Europeans arrived here to Donbass from German to watch here, and they are shocked. They tell us that people in Germany do not know the situation here, and such a horrible war is not necessary for Europe. But no one can put end to this story.
I'll also, so you guys need help, and in what are some of the most immediate things that a country could do for you? What kind of like what would you ask for to get the ball started, to get the ball rolling?
Ter, the most important, of course, to break through this information war, not no in order to make not people be out of these facts in different to bring us in information field. People have to know about current events in order to stop this war and prevent other wars. People do not have to be alone with the problem. I think information war, it's to win information war, it's a partial victory of the real war. It's my mind. If you understand what I mean. If we win information war, we will win this war.
I do understand what you mean, and it's kind of like maybe we're doing it right now. Hopefully, the information is getting out either by this show or other shows that you get on, and then we open up the dialogue of what's happening. I mean, I know just by having you on the show, I understand now more of what's going on and I feel more educated in the situation, and it opens my eyes to the fact that the alliances that are being made between countries, the way that they're doing it, and the human suffering that's happening to have it be done, should all come into question in people's minds. And if we can just even get to that awareness, then the change and what we're going to do after that will hopefully come from compassion and empathy and love. And I want to thank you very much for being here on the show, Natalia, and be well, and peace and love to you from at least from the Freedom of Joy show.
Thanks.
All right, we'll be
To
right
you.
back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All clear.
All right. Thank you, Natalia, for doing the show.
Thank you guys. Thanks, Tara, for your invitation, for such ability to be here today. It's you do a lot with your show that you invite me today to talk, to tell the real situation.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you for being here, and hopefully, I hope you, that it wasn't too horrible for you. It's like that we did that I've done that we've done you justice. That's what I hope for.
Thanks a lot. I hope that we'll hear on the air again.
Yes. Yeah. It'll be archived in the station, and then I'll make sure that I get a YouTube video made as well.
Yes, Natalia, anytime that you have like breaking information that people should hear, send us a note here to this Skype,
Okay.
and we'll try to get you on air with Terry or somebody, whoever is available at the moment to get the message out.
Okay, the
Yeah.
most important information I will send you, obviously. Okay. Thanks, guys,
Oh, you're
Great.
welcome.
for you do this
Thank you.
show
Thank
that
you.
you help us.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. So, yeah, anytime.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.